There are moments when a phone becomes the only lifeline between order and absolute terror. And on the other end, a dispatcher listens to what might be the last words someone ever speaks. Tonight, we're counting down the top 5 disturbing 911 calls, recordings that continue to haunt investigators, dispatchers, and anyone brave enough to listen. Let's begin. Case number 5, the silent room. It was supposed to be a routine welfare check. A neighbor called 911 after hearing strange noises coming from the apartment next door. Furniture dragging, something heavy dropping, and then nothing. The dispatcher tried calling the resident. When the line finally connected, they were met with something that still unsettles them to this day. Complete silence, except for the faint sound of slow breathing. "Ma'am, can you hear me?" No response, just that quiet, rhythmic breath, like someone was listening, but didn't want to speak. Police arrived within minutes. The door was locked from the inside. No signs of struggle, no one around. And when they finally entered the apartment, the phone was lying on the floor, still connected, still breathing. But the room was empty. The resident was never found. And to this day, no one knows who or what was on the other end of that call. Case number 4. The woods at night. A man hiking alone called 911 just after sunset. He was calm at first, explaining he had gotten lost and couldn't find the trail back to his car. But then, his tone changed. He whispered, "Someone's out here." The dispatcher asked if he could describe them. The man replied, "They're standing between the trees, not moving, just watching." Every time he spoke, the figure moved closer. First 10 feet, then 5, then just a few steps away. The hiker whispered, "It's right in front of me." The dispatcher told him to run toward the sound of sirens. But before he could, the call suddenly ended with a gasp, followed by the crunch of leaves and a series of frantic, unintelligible noises. Rescuers found his phone the next morning, but no trace of him. Only fresh footprints circling the spot where the call ended, and a second set of prints that didn't match his, leading deeper into the woods. Case number 3, the crying child. A dispatcher received a call from what sounded like a young child, no older than 6. The child whispered, "I can't find Mommy." The dispatcher calmly asked where the mother was last seen. The child replied, "She's hiding, but he keeps finding us." The dispatcher asked, "Who keeps finding you?" Silence. Then a quiet whisper, "The tall man." The child described a figure with no face, calling him the tall man repeatedly. The dispatcher stayed on the line, trying to determine the location. Suddenly the child said, "He's back." Footsteps echoed over the phone, slow, heavy, deliberate. The child whispered, "He's in the room." Then the line went dead. Police traced the call to an abandoned house that had been empty for years. No child was ever found, and there were no signs anyone had lived there recently, but the phone was still warm. Case number 2, the highway passenger. A woman called 911 from inside a moving vehicle. Her voice trembled. "I don't know the driver," she whispered. "I think I'm in danger." She explained she had gotten into what she thought was her ride share, but the driver never responded to her questions and refused to stop. The dispatcher instructed her to quietly give landmarks as they passed. She whispered street names, highway signs, exits, and then she said, "He's looking at me." A pause. He's smiling. The dispatcher heard the car accelerate. The woman screamed that the doors were locked, and then the driver's voice came onto the call, not yelling, not frantic, but calmly saying, she shouldn't have gotten in. The call ended abruptly. When police located the car, it was empty. Doors open, headlights still on, but the driver and passenger were gone. The woman has never been found.
Case number 1. The basement voices. A man called 911 after hearing noises in his basement late at night. Soft murmurs like several people whispering at once. He told the dispatcher he lived alone. He said the voices sounded like they were chanting, repeating something he couldn't understand. The dispatcher stayed on the line as he slowly walked down the basement stairs. Each step creaked, and the whispering grew louder. Halfway down, he said, "I can see them." The dispatcher asked, "See who?" The man replied, "They're not facing me. They're all standing in a circle, and they're whispering into the floor." The dispatcher told him to get out immediately. Suddenly, the whispering stopped. The man said, "They all turned around." Then, the phone fell. Police arrived minutes later. The basement was empty, but the floor was covered in strange markings, symbols carved into the concrete. The man was never located, and the case remains open.
Some calls end with answers. These end with questions. If you want more disturbing mysteries and chilling countdowns, subscribe to NightFiles, where the unknown is never left in the dark. Until next time, stay out of the shadows.